season. The numbers don't lie. So as much as that sucks to just say it, it does. To me, it's unacceptable. I feel like it falls on the weight of my shoulders, so I really want to get that number down.
Respect.
Swagoo, what does that struggling defense do to Lamar and that offense?
Well, I know everybody's expecting me to be on this defense, which rightfully so. But I'm going to go to the offense, actually. We know how explosive Lamar has been, but early in games, they've been explosive. The fourth quarters have been abysmal for the Baltimore Ravens when it comes to their offense. They've actually cost their team games. Look at Lamar's numbers in the fourth quarter. QBR down to 24, 1 touchdown to 4 turnovers. That's a big reason why. Now, obviously, you give up leads against Miami and you give up leads against Buffalo, obviously, and you lose those games down the stretch. But this is a defensive issue, don't get me wrong. But it seems to me, in watching these games and watching this film, that this offense kind of goes stagnant or they go missing after they build these leads. So it's very important for them to continue to press. It's very important for them not to try to preserve wins, but also keep their foot on the pedal. And Lamar, quite frankly, got to play better in the fourth quarter of games because it's costing this team opportunities at W's.
Yeah, I actually thought the defense played pretty well against Buffalo. They just ran into an all-time Josh Allen performance in the second half, as many defenses will. But the offense, you're right, I actually did struggle a lot to hold on to that lead, or rather build upon that lead. And for me, a lot of that has to do with the run game, which feels wild to say about the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, Mina,
but when you take out Lamar's rushing production, it drops precipitously. In fact, they're 5th in rushing EPA overall, but 24th when you just count running backs. And there's a litany of reasons for this. They've obviously had injuries at the running back position, the offensive line as well. I think they kind of landed on something, putting J.K. Dobbins under center a bit. We'll see if that continues. But in my mind, the run game has to be much better than it's been, because here's the thing, it should be so easy. You have one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever run in the backfield. Defenses have no idea where the ball is half the time, and yet thus far this season it's been pretty lackluster.
Totally agree, guys. The best way for me to say it, go ahead, Marcus, go ahead.
I am 100% getting so easy tatted somewhere on my body. I'm doing it, MK. I got to do it. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
A little promiscuous, but okay.
You got enough space to pick options. So.
Now, Dan, a lot of people may read into last season, right? The Bengals truly had the Ravens number, but you say that whole approach is null and void.
Well, I mean, because the Bengals got to play against a decimated unit when Lamar did play, and then he played without Lamar. I'd like to touch a little bit on the offense, too, because I think you guys are on point. The best way for me to say it is they allow the circumstances or situations of the game to kind of put them in, I don't want to say panic mode, but dictate what they do. I agree the run game, but even more so the Lamar run game, which they use so well in the first 3 quarters. First 3 quarters of games, Lamar's got 14 carries, designed runs. In the fourth quarter, he has 4. That's 1 a game. He's too good of a weapon to only be utilized that minimally. They got 1 fourth quarter touchdown this year. Guess what? Who's on a designed run for? Lamar Jackson. And I think the second thing that shows up a little bit, guys, is, and MK, I'd like to get your perspective on it. It feels like they force feed Mark Andrews the ball in the pass game a little bit late in games. And I know it's a fine
100%.
line, right? I know it's a fine line, between players over plays, but they got other options that they can they do in the first 3 quarters.
Well, one problem I think in the fourth quarter that kind of went under notice is, Rashad Bateman didn't play. And when that happened, it was like the pass game evaporated, in part because we have seen this with Lamar Jackson. He does key in on Mark Andrews, and I wouldn't blame him based on some of the skill players he's played with over the years there. But that's not a formula for a successful offense. And, and it's going to be an issue, by the way, in this one, because Rashad Bateman, we'll see if he plays, but he is banged up. And if he doesn't play, what you just described will be a problem.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting, Dan, and Marcus, maybe you can answer this. You talk about the lack of the design run plays in the fourth quarter from Lamar. Marcus, is he maybe running out of gas? Is that maybe why they're dialing that thing back?
Jay, I would like to say yes because it's a fourth quarter game, but this is Lamar Jackson we're talking about. If it was anybody else, I would potentially, right? But we see Josh Allen in fourth quarters of games build and get stronger, and they actually go to that.
I'd like it to see
the Buffalo Bills. So that's what they need to do with
Marcus,
Lamar.
I'd like it to flip. Run him a little bit early on, and then you can kind of use him as the absolute finisher, door closer. Yes.
Absolutely.
Due to injuries. This week, the Broncos placed outside linebacker Randy Gregory on IR due to a knee injury. it's expected to sideline him multiple weeks. On offense, Denver will be without second-year running back Javonte Williams, done for the season with that torn ACL and LCL. As for the Colts, well, they are lacking all-pro running back, do-it-all guy Jonathan Taylor due to an ankle injury. It'll be the first game of his career that he has missed due to injury. Keyshawn, how does Taylor being out affect the game plan for the Colts tonight?
Well, I think when you look at it, first of all, they need to protect the football. Matt Ryan is just fumbling that thing away at an alarming rate. But although he did pass the ball well last week, I think when you look at this team overall, though, we came into the season assuming that they would just plug Matt Ryan in and they would run the ball with Jonathan Taylor and do fine. Well, that hasn't been the case. Now what they've got to do is try to protect the quarterback, get the ball out of his hands quick, fast, and hurry, stay away from Surtain, don't utilize him, find some other receivers out on the football field, and get their defense going. Russell Wilson is starting to cook a little bit. I mean, he's starting to play a little bit better, so you got to be careful there.